Hello, friend. So this would be our 6th week in our 16-week journey through the 8 skills of mindfulness. But we're going to hit the pause button this week because even mindfulness practices need room to breathe. So welcome to what I am calling our winter break. I'm Lauren and I'll be your coach. This pause isn't a setback. It's part of our natural rhythm. Just like nature rests in winter to bloom in spring, sometimes our growth happens when we give ourselves space to integrate. Let's be honest, none of us are mindful 100% of the time. That's just not how it works. It's always going to be a practice and a return to mindfulness. Maybe you noticed that you reacted instead of responding. Maybe you noticed that you froze up instead of pausing to take a breath. Maybe you find yourself beating yourself up because you feel like you've replayed a cycle over again. But here's the truth, friend. Recognition after the fact is still on the right path. In mindfulness, a missed moment isn't a lost one. It's still an opportunity that we can take at any time to show up and engage that moment with gentleness and not judgment. Neuroscience even shows that when we reflect on a moment with mindfulness, we can still rewire our brains for greater emotional resilience. In fact, a 2010 study published in Perspectives on Psychological Science shows that reappraisal, when we rethink an emotional experience with awareness, engages our prefrontal cortex and calms down the amygdala. That means we can calm our stress response even if it's been hours or days later when we find ourselves rehashing that conversation and that event in our heads. But here's the key. It's not about just rehashing it and coming up with better comebacks. It's about engaging that moment with awareness, self-compassion, and curiosity. And that's what changes our brains. A more recent study in 2022 found that self-compassion during reflection strengthens our motivation and increases future mindful behaviors. And that's what this break is for, to remember that it's never too late to be mindful. So what do we do with that missed moment? We get curious. We choose reflection over rumination. And it's something we can choose hours, days, weeks, months, years, or even generations later. Today, let's walk through a 5-step practice that you can use at any time, whether you're driving, you're journaling, or you're just taking a moment to catch your breath. When you notice, oh geez, I am still stuck on this, I'm still spiraling, it's popped up in my head again, I thought we were over this. When you notice this returning story, or you have a moment after the fact that you're replaying it in your head and you become aware that I'm just hashing this out again, the first step we're going to take to switch from rumination to mindful reflection is we're going to name it. Gently bring that experience, bring that event, bring that feeling to mind, not to analyze it, not to judge it, just to name it and acknowledge it happened. I said this, they reacted this way. Think of it like watching a movie. You're just here to be the objective observer. When we have the moment brought to mind, then we're ready to move to step 2. And we're going to step out of the story and into our bodies. We're going to ask ourselves, where does this story, where does this experience hold space in my body? And we're going to do a body scan quick from our crown down to our toes, the front of our body and the back of our body, and notice if there's any sensations that come along with this story. Maybe they don't present as feelings or tightness or heaviness for you, but maybe they present as a color or a heat or a coolness. Maybe it's just even a lingering feeling of disconnect. However that story is presenting physically, we're going to notice it, bring our awareness to that area of our body or our mind, and allow it. We're going to allow it to move if it needs to, allow it to get heavier or tighter if it needs to. And then step number 3, we're going to breathe through it. Taking gentle inhales, imagining each inhale taking fresh oxygenated blood to that area where the story presents itself in our body. And with each exhale, allowing and giving that area of our body permission to relax, release, and let go. Remember, long, deep exhales trigger to our parasympathetic nervous system that it's safe, it's okay to let go. When we've taken a few moments to sit with the feeling and breathe into it, then we're ready for step number 4. And we're going to ask ourselves with compassion, what did I need in that moment? Maybe we needed to feel heard. Maybe we needed justice. Maybe we needed a bit of space ourselves. And then we're also going to ask ourselves, what can I learn from this about myself? I recommend this exercise to be journaled or written out. That way you can kind of just work your way through everything that comes up for you. After we've reflected on the feeling and our needs of that moment, then we're ready for step number 5. And we're going to ask ourselves, how would I want to show up in this experience or this kind of event next time? Don't try to re-script it and say, well, they should have acted this way and they should have shown up for me like that. But honestly ask yourself, how would I show up for this experience next time? Would I choose to meet this experience again with reactivity, or would I take a more compassionate route? Even if that compassion means stepping away and not engaging in this kind of experience to protect your own peace, if that could have been an option. When we have an idea of how we want to show up next time, ask yourself, what support do I need to get to that point? What can I learn about myself? What can I understand? Or how can I change my perspective that would allow me to show up how I'd like to rather than how I have? It might be just a simple plan, and that's perfectly fine. Just consider for a moment what that plan would be. Friend, this is the beautiful part. When we reflect with mindfulness, we're not just processing the past, we're priming ourselves for the future. Each time we choose curiosity over criticism, compassion over control, and presence over replaying, we're laying down new neural pathways. We're training our brains to recognize the signs sooner next time and making it a more natural route for us to pause, breathe, and respond as opposed to just reacting. We build our capacity to show up the way we want to, not by forcing it, but through practice. I will also be posting a breath and body workshop this week that will complement this video and this information I've shared today. And we'll kind of go through a little bit more elaborate, but a guided practice of this 5-step exercise I've laid out today. As we rest on our winter break, remember, this space is not a detour. It's an opportunity for integration. Every time we reflect like this, even when the moment has already passed, we're literally reshaping our brains for resilience, presence, and peace. If you've been walking this mindful path and you find yourself thinking, I missed it again. I missed another opportunity again. I should have responded instead of reacting. First of all, you're missing the self-compassion there, so be nice to my friend. But just know, you didn't miss it. You're here now, and now is where our power is at. Take this time to reflect, be gentle, and just breathe. We'll start it up next week with skill number 4, energy, and we'll be able to do so more grounded, aware, and connected to ourselves. My friends, stay present, stay kind to yourself, and I'll see you soon.